Hi and welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be flying the BD-5 and Microsoft Flight Simulator over Cancun. We all know Cancun. It's that destination where people like to party for spring break. But I figure, you know, it's just early morning, sunrise, and why not just go ahead and take a flight in the BD-5, which is a small kit plane with a tiny turbine on it. So here's the jet. You can see it's looking mighty fine. I think I'll go ahead and step right in. So many ways. It's a little bit hard to see exactly. You kind of lay down in it, and it's roomy. It's roomier than the subsonics. So it's interesting. Looks like a carbon fiber flight stick there. I guess we're ready to go. Some turbine. Brakes off. Yeah, this has a larger canopy than the subsonics. But I find the subsonics is faster. Similarly sized. You can see the wings are about the same. This one might be a hair smaller possibly. You get about 180 knots out of it. Lifting off now. Quiet morning at the airport. Not too much going on. A little bit of traffic there. Travelers are always happy. I think that's why people love it so much. It's never a boring day. It may be boring to sit there. If you do it all the time, it might get humdrum, but I've always enjoyed flying. I don't fly very often either. Sometimes I try to come up with an excuse to fly. So I'm looking for the water. There's the water over there. Looking over the right wing. You see the airport in Cancun. A little bit of mist over the trees. Low line. How cool is that? It's a huge sun right now. I guess the atmosphere kind of magnifies the sun. Acts like a magnifying glass. That's why you get those huge suns. I'm glad you don't have to feed it, right? So it's good to know when you're going too fast. Airspeed, I'm actually going 200 knots. Almost, yeah, 200 knots. This top left gauge is the airspeed. So I'm getting toward the maximum flight speed I want to be at. So I'm going to come off the turbine a little bit. It's real easy to overspeed these little microjets. They have kind of a finicky flight envelope where they can easily go too fast if you point the nose down. Now the F-18, it'll do anything. But I don't know where people are partying. Do they party over here? Maybe they're partying over here. It's got to be a beach. Cheap prices. Looks like there's land out this way. Maybe I'll just go out this way. We'll take the tour. Seems to be a city up over that way. It's a comfortable bubble, this BD-5. I've seen one in person. It's actually in one of my videos, where I went to a museum and they had this BD-5 there. And it would be cool if they had a subsonics. But they had the BD-5 right there in person, and they had the Black Fly right next to it, which is a drone. that they would. It's, you know, it's one of those quadcopters. I don't really like the word drone for those because I use that more for military drones, unmanned aerial vehicles and things like that. But yeah, the Blackfly was there. I think that has 8 props and like 2 mini wings. They're like it's like a winged propped copter, H-shaped. You have to see it. It's a pretty interesting aircraft. But that was at the Experimental Aircraft Museum, EAA. I do have a video about it, and just kind of take the tour. There we are. Some buildings. Couldn't tell you what they are. Beach doesn't look real desirable. There's some stuff right there. That looks like, yeah, here we are. Now we're at beach and hotel. You can see the little setups for where you can camp out in the sun, whatever they call that, you know, kind of like a table, an umbrella. See out front, there's places for you to suntan or whatever. He's got a pool here. Looks like a pool there. There's a pool there. There's a big one. Oh, that one. That one too. That one looks like it's on stilts. Lots of pools, considering there's water right here. I guess this is the ocean. There's a bunch of places to lay out in the sun. Look at one after another. How could you pick? You know there's a resort fee. They don't advertise that though. They give you the flat fee. You get there and they're like, oh, there's a $200 a day resort fee. And you're like, oh, really? Look at that pool. That's nice. Everyone has a nice pool. Look at that. Boom. Look at this guy. Brought his own. BYOF. Bring your own fortune. You know, this one's got to be the most expensive. They brought in snow. Look at that. Oh, the skiers were or something. Actually, I don't know. That one's interesting. Book in advance. So this is well known for spring break. Go to Cancun. I never did. Seems like a good way to drop a couple, $3 grand. Definitely see the canopy in this headset. You can see the reflection. There are settings that controls that. You can turn them off and you don't see it. It's just blank. And if you're having a hard time running, you can do that. And I did on my other computer. I never even noticed canopies. And then I turned the settings up on this one and can definitely see the canopy. It helps with the immersion and understanding of what you're doing and what you're seeing, and to see the canopy and the reflection of it. It's pretty nice. I can see the controls here. Looks like that's the tour of where you can spend your money. I know there's a city too. Let me coming up on the city here. Looks like maybe a power plant. Don't want to hit this building. Couple big buildings there. Looks like you can bring a boat in right there, possibly. Looks like, yeah. Oh no, these aren't smokestacks, these are buildings. Here's golf. A couple holes of golf. Not real big, but I've seen that before with high rises in a golf course. Place to play golf. This looks like where everyone lives that are residents of the city. So this is South America. I'm not exactly sure where. It's a decent sized place right there. Must be like a grocery store, I don't know. So when people say Cancun, it's kind of like it's blank in my mind as to what it is. I mean, I knew it was a destination, and you see videos where, hey, I'm in Cancun, woo, you know, and they're out by the beach, and it's a bunch of 20-year-olds, and they're drunk, and they're doing stuff that they may regret. And but wow, look at that sun. But you know, partying isn't a horrible thing. It's just being responsible. Meanwhile, that is important. Just because you're having a good time doesn't mean you have to be completely dense about what's good for you. It happens though. So here's the aerial shot. This looks like the place to be in here. I don't know if that's shops or what, but that looks kind of nice. Definitely a designed landmass. It looks like there's ships. Yeah, that might be business or luxury, like very well-off people. That might be like fisheries and things. I don't know. It'd be hard to be sure about. So I'm getting up into 200 knots. I'm going to turn the turbine down a little bit. Definitely don't want to be crashing. I'm trying to keep my head still because I know what it's real easy to whip your head around. If you get into VR and you get into an airplane and you're sightseeing, you can totally whip your head around. Like a little mini marina there. There's one. Places to be for sure. There's somewhere to drop off some money. Interesting boats in the water there. There's a lot of boats. I bet the weather is just awesome, and for sailing, getting in and out of here would be, if you had a sailboat, like an ocean cruiser, it seems like a place you could totally go to. Like if you lived in Florida, Cancun would be maybe a 10-day destination or something, I'm not sure, depends on the wind. But how awesome would that be to have complete seclusion and privacy for 10 days and something to do with the sails and sit there and watch the ocean go by, and then you end up in Cancun, where hopefully prices are cheap for what you get. You know, you have all kinds of fruit, fresh fruit, and who all knows what. There could be different like things to do, like, you know, you get up in the parachute and they pull it with a boat. Is that para something? I would say paraglider, but it has something to do with the boat, and they pull it. That's kind of a neat view right there. You got the shadows of the morning going. That makes a difference. Mornings always look kind of neat because you see the sun on the side of the building there. I guess that would be the east side. Rises in the east. But that gives you an idea what Cancun is right there if you've never seen it. And this isn't actually Cancun. This is just a simulator, so obviously, but you still get a sense of what's there. And when somebody says Cancun, I'm going to realize they're talking about this long strip of hotels and pools and places to get wasted, and you see the ocean. You put your feet into the ocean. That's eye-opening, though, if you've never done it. I once put my feet in the ocean. I haven't been to the ocean very much, but I did put my feet in the ocean, and it's pretty special because you understand what's out there. You know that the whales are out there, and the depth, and the huge ecosystem that is beyond us, and carries on with or without us, and is probably hindered a bit by us, but us meaning humanity in general. There's another golf course. Well, that probably costs a lot to put a golf course out here. But to have my feet in the water was pretty cool. Just knowing, if you've never been out from the land, you're kind of landlocked, you know, and then you get out to the ocean and you just see that expanse. And you know the water that's on your feet was out, you know, some of those atoms of water were all the way out in the middle, or were breathed by a whale at some time. And I don't know if anybody else thinks that way, but that's what I was thinking when I had my feet in the water. It was like, that's the ocean. So the BD-5 is holding up just fine. Airspeed is down. I'm at 120 knots. And I'm just barely climbing. I mean, I'm climbing pretty good, but after getting out of the F-18 the other minute, it's still a jet, but it's a different animal, 100%. Yeah, you can invite Bob Ross onto this one, though. Look at that. Simulation like this, it's not something you do, it's something that happens to you. A bit of reprojection going on, I think. That little cover for the light at the end of the wing seems like it's doing something, dancing a little funny. It's really only calculating like every other frame because they use reprojection to fudge frames in between the frames you're getting. and that's a way for the game to produce more frames than it could naturally. So it just kind of does a job of filling in the box, which I think is amazing. They actually had it for editing video, so if you had a video and you wanted to increase the frame rate, you could. And now they're using it to do this. Looks like there's some scratches on the window. Hopefully that's not going to freeze up. I don't think it's that cold yet. It looks like it's getting a little bit chilly. There's some fog in here. So far it's not horrible. Those just look like scratches. I guess this is an old one. 100 knots, 110. That's giving it all she's got too. Oil pressure, RPM at 100%, I guess. Exhaust temp, saying about 500 Celsius. Gallon per hour, 32 gallons per hour of fuel. See, I just let off, it goes down to 10. There's 10. But that's like quarter throttle. And wanting to come out of the air, I gotta like pull up real hard to keep it going. Going 90 and falling. So straight and level is like 20 gallons. This is half throttle. Let's see, half throttle. Half throttle is about 20 gallons per hour. A lot of small airplanes do. They about 40 gallons an hour. But you can get some ultralights that'll go for a number of hours on 5 gallons. Gallon and a half an hour or something. They don't only have 20 horsepower, but that's pretty nice. But it would take, 45 minutes to get back to land from here. Especially if there's a headwind. If there's enough headwind, you can't get home because it's basically a parachute. So that's what Cancun looks like from a decent altitude. Looks like 7,000 feet. The gauges are all analog dials. Vertical speed. That's straight and level right there. A little more than half throttle, 130 knots. Just do a little aerobatics. There's a little something else over here. I wonder what that is. Aerobatically capable this is. Usually they'll do it, but you don't really want to. Oh, I just ran out of fuel. It means I have to land over there. I see a strip too. I have to land over there. Let's see if I can do it. Got real quiet. What's nice about the simulator is when this happens, you can totally practice. Now I'm going to go too fast, is what's going to happen to land there. So I'm going to delete off a little something real quick. There we go. Now I'm getting into stalling. Now, sometimes you do that and then you come up short. And that can be pretty bad. I'm getting up to... increasing airspeed right now. I think I have enough. Especially if I let the gear down. Don't tell my mom. But see, that's a simulator. You can totally learn to do what you gotta do. Everybody has their own way of burning off. This is probably a bad way. You could probably stall horribly, which is what that sound is. Okay, I could stop doing that. If you stall really bad, it'll just go right over on its wingtip, like a B-52. So, that's your own risk. Should have put the flaps down. Do I get to live? Well, I thought I hit the brakes. Yeah, I press the button and it doesn't always take. There, I pressed it and it slowed me down. It's kind of an old flight stick. Hey, but I lived. You know, I made it. Not so bad. I didn't panic. Just knew what I had to do. Alright. There's the winner. Well, that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Always remember you can shop at my eBay store, GB Hatchery. Other than that, I hope you're safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next video.